Floor, how are you doing today?
Doing fine, thank you.
Good to be back in the Netherlands.
Yeah, it's much easier to read all the signs and everything.
You've been living in Finland now for a few months, maybe. How's your Finnish lessons going?
Well, actually, weird enough at the moment, I'm not doing that much. Well, not weird enough. I'm just a bit too busy to really have enough time to look into it. But the good thing is that I live in Finland, so I, on a daily basis, hear and see Finnish. So that kind of keeps me up on the level that I reached by studying also when I still lived back in the Netherlands. But yeah, it's time to pick things back up when the dust kind of settles around the album release.
Yes, because I guess it's hard to learn a new language, and you said it in the making of the albums that you have the level of a toddler. Are you getting better?
Maybe a little bit, but the grammar system of the Finnish language is extremely complicated, and without somewhat knowledge of it, it's really hard to get things right. Then there are so many different dialects that really make it difficult, also because the Pohjois-Karjalan accent, the accent of that region where I live, is quite difficult to grasp as well. So I can't say that I'm getting more towards a mature level, but it's getting slightly better.
And the region you live in, what is it like? Is it a town or a forest area? Or?
Kind of both, since that is inevitable in Finland. There are 5.5 million people in that huge country, but the city I live in is called Joensuu, and it's the biggest in this county. It has 75,000 inhabitants, so it basically has everything there that you could need, and 5 minutes drive and you're in the middle of the woods.
And Finland, a country of 1,000 lakes. Do you have a lake in your backyard?
Not in my backyard, but you never have to walk or drive very far to find one. No, it's absolutely true. There's water everywhere.
And did you also give up your house in the Netherlands? Or are you permanently in Finland?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of cultural differences have you noticed while being there, if any?
Well, there are. It more shines through on small things, and I mean, in general, with the different climate, different things happen. Like the way you dress in the winter times. If it's minus 20, everybody sort of looks the same. There's not much fashion going on. You just, try to survive. That's how everybody looks, which is, I think, one of the main differences. Also that, the world still continues when it snows. Like here in the Netherlands, it's code red immediately and nothing works. And Finland is, okay, there we go again. We know what to do. And I think that's very charming. And I know, at least in this county where I live, people are very open and friendly. They want to help you. Like I've been having a lot of situations where I couldn't find my way yet, or you're standing in a massive supermarket and you can't find anything. You need to ask. People are willing to help you. But those things could be a smaller town mentality versus big town mentality, which is sort of an international phenomena, I guess. But you have the typical things like the sauna rituals that you won't find in the Netherlands that way. Christmas habits that are really different, but all those things are more into details, I think, that you notice on a day-to-day basis. And the rest is pretty much the same, I guess.
And have you picked up some of those customs, like the sauna, for example?
Yeah, I already loved it before getting more accustomed to the Finnish sauna. I mean, of course, the word is Finnish, the word sauna, and it comes from Finland. It's so much more in the daily, or a special thing. You start your weekend with sauna, and there's special sauna habits with Christmas, and I really like it. One of the first things that I really wanted in my house in Finland was the sauna, so I have it now. And indeed, when I'm home, it's almost an everyday ritual connected to showering, and it's a super relaxing thing. I would really not easily want to do without.
Well, then you're away from home. How you're a place, of course, that has been your home for many years. How are you getting adjusted to that? I mean, with family far away, friends maybe far away.
Yeah, that's the main downside. But I noticed because of the international relationships I have, Swedish boyfriend, family in the Netherlands, a lot of friends in Finland, regardless of where I would live, I would have to miss people. That was one of the things that made it somewhat easier to actually make that decision to go to Finland. And of course, yeah, my parents, my sister and her family, there are a lot of things that I really miss here. It's great though that there's internet as a bit of a substitute. With Skype or FaceTime you can at least see each other for a bit, and it's not on the other side of the planet either. It's a 2.5-hour flight, so it's not that difficult to go and see each other. So far it's been very doable, I'd say.
Okay, so you have the occasional visits here.
Yeah, or the other way
back
around.
And forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the new Nightwish album, your first, effort with Nightwish. You've not actively participated in the songwriting, right?
Mm-hmm, that's
but
true.
you have in After Forever and ReVamp.
Yep.
Did you miss it during this process?
No, because well, at least this is first studio album, I must say. I mean, we do have the live CD and DVD, which I would say is also an effort.
True.
But this was the first time to really work on an album from scratch, written by mainly Thomas and Marco as well. This is the vocal line, this is the lyric, go ahead. But if you're so fortunate to work with people who can write songs like they can and have that typical, Nightwish sound, one thing that connects all the eras of Nightwish is that particular sound, then my little ego is just fine with saying, I don't have to write for this, this is going to be awesome anyway. And it is. That doesn't mean that there is no creative input from me whatsoever. Because there you have the piano playing a vocal line and those lyrics, there is a certain phrasing you can do that Thomas had in mind, like how the words have to be divided on the melodies, but then it becomes the vocal puzzle where my creative input comes in. I can sing it like this, I can sing it like that, and I've been trying a couple of things out at home, but then we went into the rehearsal studios and we've actually took quite some time to rehearse the songs and really go through and through everything, which gave me the time to really get things into my system and to work together at getting those songs right, playing with the vocal, possibilities. Should we give it the rock vibe or should it be a little more poppy, at least not too edgy, or could we throw in some opera here? And it was a nice puzzle to make where everybody as an equal came in with ideas, and that went for the whole song finishing, like arranging the songs. We all really had our input there, which is I think part of the reason why this album also gives a bit more of a band vibe into the sound. It's not as orchestral, even though it's very much there still, but it's a band effort there that shines through, and that for me felt very natural coming out of a position where I'm usually more involved in the songwriting.
But didn't you get an itch, like, I have this feeling now, maybe it inspired you for writing songs?
Not really, because the creative input I had to offer was still there. So I didn't feel like, now I need to go home and write something just because I couldn't do it in this. Even though, every once in a while ideas pop up and I record some ideas, but I really didn't feel like I was missing out on anything being involved in this album.
Okay, and if you do write your own stuff, what triggers your inspiration?
I have no idea. I heard Tuomas say everything that comes in at some point has to come out one way or the other, and I think I have the same, and I can't really put my finger on when. It's usually when I'm at my happiest and most energetic, like, I want to do something, and sitting in front of the TV sure as hell is not going to make me inspired to see anything or do anything, or piano, let's try something, sing something, and usually that is the moment that something comes out.
Okay, well, the topics on the album, they are, well, pretty big topics: life, origin of life, and of course the songs about it that you sing. Did you read them and stop to take a moment just to think about it?
Yeah, of course. In order to really tell a story of a song, you have to understand the story, or at least give it your own twist. Like also with older Nightwish songs, there are things I don't exactly understand what it is about that Tuomas had in mind, but that doesn't mean that I don't feel where it's about, and I have to tell it one way or the other that is going to be interpretational for everybody who listens to it, and you will listen to it differently than somebody else. Again, you know, everybody brings their own life story into the interpretation of a song and of lyrics, and so do I. But it was very easy for me to identify myself with these subjects. I've always loved nature. I've always been inspired by everything that was going on in the world and wanted to understand how things work. And evolutionary theories, yeah, I got them taught at school. I thought that's the truth for me. I was really surprised to hear how many people in the Western society actually don't believe it, because they still believe what's in the Bible, even though it's scientific proof in fact. I had no idea, so I really got more inspired to find out more about it, more detail. So I started to read Richard Dawkins' books. I've been seeing some DVDs and, you know, reading up. We've been talking about it a lot, and it was really right up my alley. So it was really not hard for me to understand these things. And but you know, it's like a main line through all the songs, but there are also songs on the album with the subjects completely of their own, like Our Decades in the Sun, for instance, where it's really about an ode to our parents and to thank them and show them our appreciation and love, which is still, you know, the happiness of life and the appreciation of it, but from a whole different angle. Yeah, and also with that, fortunately, I could identify very easily and tell the story with a lot of passion and emotion.